buckle up, my friends, because I just finished reading a book and I have grievances. I am currently attempting to read as many Star Wars books as possible, both legends and canon. There's just something about reading about rebellion right now that feels right, you know? And by popular demand, I just finished reading The Light of the Jedi, the first book in the High Republic series, and oh my god. Now, a couple of disclaimers. This is somehow the third time I have read this book, the third time I have attempted to get into the High Republic. Set 232 years before the events of Episode 4, A New Hope, this is a story about the height of the Jedi and the Republic. The galaxy is at peace, until it's not. The book opens with a hyperspace disaster, and the Jedi are quickly called in to try and help save a bunch of lives. The Jedi are plentiful and known and respected, but as with any galaxy you might visit, there are some bad guys out there. In this book, they come in the form of a space biker gang called the Nihil. They're basically pirates, but their up-and-coming leader has bigger goals for them in mind. All of that sounds fine in theory, even potentially good, but the execution of it in this book is reprehensible. First of all, the pacing is awful. Most of the entire first act of the book is spent in different chapters introducing you to new characters, telling you a bunch of random facts about them, and then unaliving them. They're never to be seen again. And after the fourth time this happens, you start to stop caring about the characters, because why would you if they're going to be gone in 5 pages? So by the time the main characters, if you can even call anyone in this book that, appear, you've sort of lost your will to care. Which actually turns out to be fine, because pretty much all of the central characters are incredibly boring and aren't really worth caring about in the first place. And I think maybe a bigger problem here is having a story so centered on the height of the Jedi. Because let's be honest, when Jedi are actually good at their jobs and aren't being tempted to the dark side, they're basically just peaceful space wizards. They're not that interesting. Which means the bad guys, the Nihil, end up being much more interesting to read about. Except unfortunately, they're written like bad Saturday morning cartoon villains, and all these deeper character and plot issues are made even worse by just really bad writing. This book feels like when you have to hit a word count on a paper, but you don't have enough to say, so you just go on and on and on. And what you get is a book with a lot of words and very little substance. For example, the Nova tore its way through the highest level of Hetzal Prime's atmosphere. No, not tore. Loden Greatstorm was too fine a pilot for that. So then why say that it tore its way through in the first place? Just say what you mean. Think, she thought. Why? This book is trying really hard to feel like it's a movie, but it just ends up coming off really silly. It was over. Next page. It was not over. Not to mention the book is just insanely repetitive. It repeats itself constantly, as shown here by just the sheer number of times that characters say the words, "We are all the Republic." I could forgive all of that if the book was just exciting or engaging. I get that this is the first book setting up the entire High Republic series. There's a lot to introduce, there's a lot to explain, but if none of it feels consequential, if none of it feels like it matters, if we don't care, what's the point? All of that being said, people swear by this series. So we're gonna continue, and we're gonna see if it gets better. We're gonna hope that it gets better. This is the reading order that I will be following. Someone sent this to me on Threads, and it just seems perfect. Which means the next High Republic book that I will be reading is A Test of Courage. This is the first of the middle grade books. What are your thoughts on the High Republic? Have you read it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think it gets better after this book? Do you think it gets worse after this book? And what other Star Wars books do you think should be on my reading list? Let me know in the comments.